Hello everybody, and thank you for my quick, I guess what would you call this, tutorial maybe? Not even that. I'm just doing a quick informal video on how I personally came about my strategy, or technique if you will, on how to teach your child to read at home. Now, this is very informal, so let me go ahead and just introduce myself. My name is Ben. I have a 3-year-old daughter. About not even a full 4 months ago, I really started taking the initiative to start teaching her to read at home. Obviously, she, you know, did do reading activities and things like that at daycare and at preschool and whatnot, but I really wanted to take more of the initiative to read with her in the evenings, not only just at bed, but to practice her letters. And what I'm doing here is just showing you what had worked for me, and it has really worked in the past 3 months. You have to excuse me, I'm fighting a cold right now, so I guess instead of reading to her before putting her to bed, I'm kind of quarantining myself in the bedroom and making a video about how I read to her. So without further ado, let me go ahead and continue on my little PowerPoint presentation that I put together here. Again, this isn't anything special, just a quick how-to of how I teach my child to read at home. So without further ado, you got how to teach your child to read at home. Boom. So what we got here for this quick video, again, it's only going to be a couple more minutes, but it's jam-packed with a lot of good strategies that I use, stuff that you can literally take today, or tonight if you will, when you get home from work, and start implementing to get your child engaged and actively wanting to learn to read with you. So I got a couple tips and tricks to getting them to start reading while having fun learning, fun reading activities for children that are proven to work, and like I just said, how to get started as quickly as today. Pretty fancy transition there. I like that. So the two different types of reading approaches that I've came across, I have bought workbooks from Amazon, and I've bought a couple of other products online. Both of them, the different ones focus on either sight words versus a thing called phonemic awareness. Without really trying to dip into the explanation of both, sight words are simply words like the, that is very hard to explain, or even like the word pneumonia. I mean, you can't really sound it out because the P in itself, it doesn't work that way. But you can look at the word, it's a sight word, you know what it is, same with the word the. Brief explanation there. Phonemic awareness is taking letters set up together and sounding it out just as you would imagine, like the word cat, C-A-T, literally going cat, C-A-T, cat, cat. And I'll show you that in here just a second here. But the difference between the two, I had more results faster with the phonemic awareness, to be quite honest with you. Don't get me wrong, there are certain sight words that you just have to teach them. There's no way they can really sound out the T in the without saying he. If you follow me. So actually, let me go ahead and take a little break from this. Let me hit exit. So let me take a break here. Let me just use, there's a picture of my daughter right there. Like I said, 3 years old. She just started about going on 4 months of reading, and really went from me reading to her, practicing letters and everything like that, to now we are practicing easy to read rhymes, books, stuff like that in the evening. So it went from a transition within 90 days to me constantly reading to her, to now that she holds the book, I lay next to her in bed, and she go ahead and she runs the show before she goes to sleep at night. So let me kind of explain here real quick. Let's just say phonemic awareness, like I was saying, the word cat, C-A-T. Let me blow that up so we can all get a closer view of that. Alright, we got the word cat. Phonemic awareness is where you take each letter, like C, A, T, and you sound it out by the way the letter sounds. So as you're teaching them to read, you'll be like, okay, this is the letter C. And you can even print off cards, take magnets, whatever you need to do, but have them trace the letter C, like pretend the cursor is my finger, like this is C. C makes a K sound. This is the letter A. Have them trace it with their finger with you. Letter A makes the ah sound. So you get where I'm going with that. Now, phonemic awareness is when you put this word together, they will follow with their finger and go k, a, t, and then they'll run their finger across the whole bottom and go cat, cat. That's it in a nutshell. Like I was saying with sight words, words like the, those are words that you just have to teach them to recognize what it is. It's a sight word. They can't pronounce that without getting confused. Just like the letter, or I guess the word three, also a sight word. It's just very hard for them to decipher at this age that T not only means "t," but it also means "th," you know, with the H next to it. That's something that in the program I've really followed kind of goes more in detail, but I digress for now. What I'm trying to get across are certain strategies, activities you can do right now to get them engaged, really actively wanting to learn with you. And let me go ahead and start this bad boy real quick. Bear with me. So we got that covered. How to teach your child to read at home. All the tips and tricks, reading activities, and how to get started as quickly as today. The difference in my preference between the two, like I said, there's not really a preference. You use them both. But when it comes down to it, I really prefer the phonemic awareness. I've had much greater results than that. Or with that, I'm sorry. So the first thing that I have learned to love is the use of letter magnets. You gotta love the punch me in the face. I've actually, on a few occasions, spelled certain things on our fridge, but I'm not going to go into that. That's not the point of this right now. Letter magnets. You don't even have to use them on the fridge. You can throw them on the floor. Obviously you want to keep them combined in a container if you don't use them on the fridge. Otherwise they're going to end up like Legos, and any parent knows what stepping on Legos in the middle of the night is like. Not going to even go into that. But uh, using these is a great opportunity to, in my case, while we're getting ready for dinner, especially right after work when we're all trying to be together as a family, if we're getting things ready for dinner, you can go ahead and spell simple things like M-E, me, and they can practice this on the fridge. Or if they get a little more advanced, which I'm hoping to with my daughter here probably within the next 2 months, is I can take a whole handful of these and spell out simple sentences like Bob was in the shower or the bath or something, something along the lines of that. And you can spell it across the carpet, and then they can go ahead and follow the sentence. It can be on the carpet, it can be in their playroom, wherever. But I've loved to finally incorporate the use of letter magnets other than putting stuff like punch me in the face or many other varieties of things you could put on the fridge. So with that being said, definitely if you haven't yet, feel free to go ahead and invest in some magnets. Truthfully, they're only a couple bucks at the store, and you're going to find that you're going to get more use out of it. Plus, you're going to keep them actively engaged in the kitchen with you, more family time while you're getting ready for dinner, and it's just nice because there's not enough hours in the day you get to be together between work, activities, home, bed, everything like that. So, moving on to the next one. That was nice too. Buy a small dry erase board, uh, as well as using little cutout cards and stuff like that that have the letters on it. I also like using a dry erase board because sometimes you just can't get them engaged with letters that stick to the fridge or flashcards or anything like that. But a dry erase board, as long as you're working with them at the same time, they love not only watching you draw out the letters, but they will follow with you, they will trace it, they will also read it. A very wise investment. Again, it doesn't even cost that much. You can get a small one for maybe $4 or $5 at the store, and it's really inexpensive. And it's a great tool to use when you find that you're exhausting the fridge magnets or you're exhausting flashcards or anything you're really trying just isn't working. I've always used this as my go-to as a last resort if everything else is failing. On to the next one. Let's see here. My favorite time here. Set more time to read before bed at night. Now what I mean about this is when you're teaching your child to read, you are no longer just reading them a story. They are going to have to sit there and look and really see what you're reading and look at those letters and words and really find out how and why they're jumbled together to make this sound that makes a story. So the first tip I do is when you are reading, again, you're sitting right next to them, you're not looking at them, they're not looking at the cover, they're looking at it page by page with you. Use your index finger to follow each word as you're reading it. Literally go slow. It's going to take a little bit more time, but go slow and read through it word by word and use your finger to trace under it so they can see exactly where you're at, what words you're under, what it sounds like, and so forth. Excuse me. And then always remind your child as you're reading that we read top to bottom and left to right. Uh, No real reason why. It's just a reminder every time that so they're not going backwards or anything like that. We go top to bottom, left to right. Enough said there. Now, every so often, slowly pronounce a word. Now, as I showed you before with the phonemic awareness with the word cat, do that with other words like jumped or anything like that. Use the phonemic awareness approach so you can go ahead and show them how you're pronouncing certain words that may be tough for them to understand. All it's going to do is help their vocabulary, help them remind them, I guess, if you will, of how you use phonemic awareness to pronounce words. And again, it takes a little bit longer when you're reading stories with them, but again, this is an investment into your child that you're putting your time and effort in, and it's going to pay off in the long run. Last but not least, make it fun and entertaining. Definitely don't approach them to read a story when you're still carrying the stress of the day on you. I mean, that's a given, but we've all fallen victim of it. It happens. You just can't avoid it. Find a moment to clear your head, take a breather, whatever you've got to do what you got to do. But when you go and you read them a story at night, definitely go in with a nice calm attitude. You're there to teach them. Excuse me. And by teach them, you kind of forget you're not just reading them a story. You are really sculpting not only their attitude to read, their mindset, but this is really an investment you're putting into them. It's not an obligation. Not every parent has to read to their child. You really are doing it out of the kindness of your heart because you want the best for them. And it's proven that teaching your child to read earlier is only going to help them in the long run. Don't need to go into statistics. It's been proven. I digress. But definitely make it fun and entertaining. Don't really try and rush through it. We all have a million things we got to do before bed. I understand. But make it fun and entertaining for them. Reading is no fun for kids when you're not enjoying teaching it to them. So other than that, I really have no other tips. I guess if you want some more information about phonemic awareness, there are two things. I did another video, not like this. It was more of a review on my experience with different programs. I'll include it in the link below. You can go ahead and click the below and take a look. And then there's also another website of a different program that I've had much success with. Like I said, I went from day 0 to 3 months in. My daughter has literally taken the reins on reading at night. And again, it's not anything unusual. Just every day, working a little bit at, chipping at it, getting better, progressing. But feel free to take a look below in the description. I've got another link to another YouTube video of me doing a more in-depth review about the product, what I like, what I didn't like, and then in there too, excuse me, is the link to the website. So, before I end up going into a coughing fit here, I do want to go ahead and thank you for taking a look at this video. I really appreciate you guys wanting to help your child with the reading activities, how to teach them to read at home and everything like that. And if you want, leave any comments, questions, your experience, anything like that. I'm more than happy to kind of engage and really want to chat and see how people are doing with this, answer any questions, anything like that. Feel free to click any of the links below. And last but not least, I hope you got something out of it. So I do want to thank you for your time, and thank you. Bye-bye.